how's it going? So, there's been a really interesting concept of something I've really been wanting to do for a very long time now, and I've reached out to people, but I've just failed to follow this up. So with the release of like the Pirates thing just coming up next, moving on to the set after that, but then there's always been something I wanted to do which I've kind of needed to release all the sets to create, and that was like a fantasy map for the game Wrath of Course 2. And basically it'll contain, like, when you see like these old maps from like Lord of the Rings or, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's just like got little icons around it, mountain ranges, cities, villages, and all manners of little things around the map. And another idea sprung into my head, which was basically I'm going to try and create like an episodal series of videos of me creating this map of mine, what I've got in my head. Other TCGs could try and copy the same method, the same style, and where you would have my map in the middle, maybe other homemade trading card game creators could do their own map, what could possibly link on to my map, so it becomes like a collaborative homemade TCG fantasy map. And yes, I've got to brew my hand back because that will come in handy for this video shortly on. So yeah, if anybody's interested in doing something like this, you know, I've never created one of these maps before, so the whole thing could flop. But you know, I've been watching a few videos on YouTube, and I've got a kind of idea of how to do this design and how the practicality side of it's going to work out. And obviously, my map in particular, it's going to contain cities for 5 major factions. It's currently well, which are going to be within the first cycle of my game, and we'll write a list of them shortly. And obviously a couple of points of interest around the map as well, which are usually things like I don't know, like your wonder cards or a defensive, which is a location or something like that, and they could be dotted around the map as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with starting, you know, creating a list of what kind of things what we need. But if anybody is interested on creating a map very similar to the way I'm doing mine now, and linking it onto like the northeast, southwest, something like that, and then maybe we could create this massive map, fantasy map of all different types of TCG content creators. I think that'd be something really cool. Okay, so things we're going to need is obviously a canvas. Now this is an A3 with some heavyweight paper. I very, very rarely use this folder, and I mean rare because I've only ever drawn 2 things in this book, one of which is basically a giant anime head and some random person's dog who I don't know if they will ever see this. So we've got a lovely A3 spread of drawing paper just down here. So we've got like the north, we're going to have the north at the top, south, west and east. Things I'm going to need, obviously, there's been a method online. Now you're supposed to, you can use rice, however at the moment I don't have rice, so I've got these little baby pasta stars, which will do equally as good of a job. Oh shit, the whole thing fell over. Paintbrush, you'll see about why in a minute. Cup of coffee, you will see why in a minute. Pencil, rubber, and letter point, you'll need some kind of fine liner, which I'm not going to bother with at the moment. But before all of that, we're going to need a list of things. Now the easiest way for me to create this list of things, it is usually a point of interest, but I've got 5 major archetypes in my game. We have got the knights, the witches, the samurai, the pirates, and the final set is going to be the mages or the elves. Oh, I spelled that wrong. On top of that, we also have Rhaenys and he's also a knight faction. So we've got 2 knight factions. Come on, camera, focus. So the leader of the knights, of the main knights, should say, is Neon. And if you played Wrath of Course 1, his city is called Haran. So you might not notice much of that word in Wrath of Course 2, but it's quite a big thing in Wrath of Course 1. So that has always been a thing in the Wrath of Course history. The witches, so the major character in the witches is Sybil, Now, at the moment, I don't think we've got her city name, if you like, so we're gonna think of something about a little bit on it in a later episode. However, you may notice that there's a location card called the Ruins of Belgu, so I'm gonna create a little point of interest there called Belgu. Now, samurai is Masakado. Again, I've spelled that wrong, but never mind. And we know that if you look through the cards in 2.3, then that city is called Toya. Pirates, royalty rare is called Blackbird, and we don't have a name for that city at the moment. Mages, I'm going to release the royalty rare for that at the moment, and we don't have the city name for that at the moment, so that's a bit of a secret for now. And then you've got King Rhaenys. We've got Rhaenys' name right there, and he's, given the fact that the game has been out for about 8 years or so, we've never actually put a name against the citadel which Rhaenys resides in, so that is just going to be called the Citadel, and that will more than likely take up a major point in the map somewhere because of how powerful and unique King Rhaenys is. Now, on top of all these, we're going to have some points of interests. So let's see if I can try and remember all of these. If not, I'll have to come back to this video later on. Now, in the samurai archetype, we had a good old-fashioned blood tree. Now, in 2.4, in the filler set, we also had the Blooming Sakura, which I kind of think mixes in with the samurai theme. Actually, was Blood Tree Samurai or was that Witches? I think I've got a feeling it would do better in the Witch side, so I think we're going to move Blood Tree over to the Witches location in the map. Pirates, there's going to be a card called the Merchant's Port. So I think we're going to have that there. And Wrath of Course, one classic, Gem Cave. I don't think we can go without Gem Cave. At the moment, we don't know what the point of interest are going to be at the moment for the mages and the elves. So I'm just going to pause the video now and just see if we can fill in any more of these gaps. Okay, so we're back. So we've got a couple of things what we've missed out. So obviously the High Witch's Manor in the Witch archetype. Toya Temple in the Samurai. Got some cards called Skull Rock and Distant Lighthouse coming with the Pirates. And then on here I've just pulled out some random location cards, wonders and stuff. So you've got the Lost Sands, Livia, which is the collaborational cards from set 2.4. I think it was the last 10 elements, and Kingdoms TCG, one of them. Fort Calderon, which is from the Haran, maybe that could be part of that. Dark Stronghold, Foot of Clouds, and Gemstones of Malice. So we've got all these points of interest, and I'm sure if I've missed any, be sure to leave a comment. Maybe we could fill out some for the Neon side of things, and especially some around the Rhaenys side, which is going to be quite tricky, I think, because I would have to go through the Wrath of Course 1 cards for that. So, moving on, I'm going to have to put this camera up a little bit. So that is A3 size. I'll have a drink. And the next bit, you may have noticed I've got something just underneath here, just in case any of the liquid soaks through. So I'm going to take this brush, dip it in coffee. I'm going to give it a little tarnish. So you might not see it too much on the camera, but when that dries, that will really wear the paper down. You can already see that the water is starting to take an effect on the paper, which is causing it to bow in certain areas. So I don't know if... The next technique now is we want to try and get the landscape in this. Ooh, my phone nearly snapped off the bracket. So we want to get the landscape in this, and one really good way of doing this is to basically, normally you would take a handful of rice and throw it on the canvas. Now I don't have rice, unfortunately, so I do have some little kids pasta, little pasta stars. They're just about the same grain as I don't want that falling off because it'll go fucking everywhere. Okay. It's sticking to the water. And then basically we're going to try and draw a bit of a landscape. No, I'm not going to use a pen, I'm going to use a pencil to try and get some of these. So because it's a bit sticky, I'm just going to randomise a few of the edges and then hopefully from that we will have a lovely little landscape to try and draw around. And then the idea with this now is to basically draw around the edge of these little grains of pasta, or you would normally use rice. So yeah, I'm gonna speed up this part of the video. Okay, so we've got the major outline of the map. I'm not going to go into too much detail now because this video will be getting quite lengthy. However, we've got the outline. Within my next video, I'm going to show you, or should I say in my next video, I'm going to show you a bit more of the minor details, which I won't put on camera, but I will show you towards the end, sorry, to the start of the next video, what I've done. As you can see, we've got a couple of random islands. Oh, just missed one over here. If camera will reach. Now you may notice I've not actually linked anything for the collaborational TCGs, so if anybody is interested, I can actually try and edit the little north, south, east and west edges if anybody wants to try and link on to those parts. So yeah, we've got a couple of islands just at the top here. We've got little peninsulas on the right hand side. Got a tiny little island just at the top there. Let's just fill that in. This little bit here, I'm just trying to work out what to do with that, because that looks like it could be like maybe a giant lake or something like that. Got a couple of islands and peninsulas just around the side here, and then this bit here we've got quite a bit of inland water down here, so that might be where the pirates could lurk, because you've got like the ports and stuff like that. Got a rather large island down at the bottom. And then I think by the next video I'm going to incorporate some lakes and stuff in the middle, but I don't want to fill too much of the middle in, because usually the centre is the mountain line of the island, so yeah, I'll try and work out that a little bit later on. But basically, if you are interested and you want to do this video, I don't see why you can't use these little pasta stars, but you could also use rice. And as a little hint, what I've found out doing this as well is when you start to do the pencil line, I started off down here where it's relatively straight. Try not to keep your pencil straight, try and get a bit jaggy as you're going around, just to give it a bit more of a natural look. Okay guys, so that is basically episode 1 of me starting the creation of a community TCG fantasy map. Like I said, if you want to get involved, leave a comment down below. Be sure to give the video a like. Hopefully, I've never seen anything like this done in the HTCG community before, so it would be really interesting to see if we could get some well-known names into this collaboration. You know, it's something completely different. Like I said, it's not just getting your artwork into somebody else's TCG, and if we can try and maybe get this on for like maybe for the rest of the year, maybe we could just blow it up onto a really big poster and have it somewhere. I don't know. Again, ideas. Be sure to leave some in the comments down below. As for my own personal map, if I've missed anything, if you play the game quite regularly and you know I've missed out a point of interest, just let me know, and you know, we will try and incorporate that into the list of point of interests I've got already. And if you've got any suggestions, again, for my map, where you think we should best put some of the point of interest in the cities. Like I said, I've already got an idea where I want the pirates to go, but maybe we could put like the knights, maybe King Rhaenys could be right in the middle, and then Haran with Neon could be somewhere else in the map. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be very focused on you guys as well, the fans who hopefully will follow this TCG, this fantasy map thing what I've got going. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully this video, the next episode won't be as long as this video, because this is a big old introduction to what I want to try and do. And then after I've completed this episode of how to make a fantasy map, something like that, we will be moving on to set 2.6, which is going to be the mage faction. And I'm not going to keep that as secret, because it's the last archetype in cycle 1, and that is going to be I want to try and open up the creation of those cards more. We've got collaborations already for set 2.6, and 2.5 isn't even released yet. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that as well. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 2.